just be honest for a second with yourself. When was the last time you picked up your phone? It was probably for something simple, right? Just to check one notification, maybe answer a quick text.
Or just look at the time.
Or just look at the time, exactly. But then you look up, and somehow 20, maybe 30 minutes have just vanished.
Oh, yeah. You've been sucked into that loop, that rapid-fire dopamine hit of doom-scrolling, then a cute animal video, then something else.
It's a universal experience. But here's the thing we're going to explore today. This isn't just you being bored or, lacking willpower. You've actually walked into a very specific kind of trap, a psychological experiment that was predicted decades ago.
And that's what's so unsettling about it. Today, we are doing a deep dive into Neil Postman's book, Amusing Ourselves to Death.
And the central idea is that we've been terrified of the completely wrong kind of apocalypse. We're always watching for the Terminator future, the 1984 surveillance state.
Right, where Big Brother is watching you and banning books. But Postman's prediction, the one we need to understand, is that the real threat to our freedom wouldn't look like a nightmare. It would look, well, he said it would look like a really fun party.
Okay, so to get this, we have to start where he did, right? By comparing the two big dystopian fears. It's George Orwell versus Aldous Huxley.
This contrast is absolutely crucial. So in Orwell's 1984, how does the state control people?
Through fear, external force.
Exactly. It's control by inflicting pain, by banning information. They literally burn books, and by keeping citizens just constantly afraid. The government actively takes away your freedom.
And that's the tyranny we're all taught to look out for.
But hang on, because you could say, well, we do have surveillance today, right? Our data is collected, our movements are tracked.
For sure. So why did Postman say Huxley got it right, not Orwell?
Because the method of control is completely different. In Huxley's Brave New World, the threat is way more subtle. It's not about inflicting pain.
It's about inflicting pleasure.
Yes. The state maintains control by giving you infinite entertainment, drugs, satisfaction. People are so amused, so, distracted that they don't even care about their freedom or the books they're not supposed to read.
They just don't want them anymore.
They've been conditioned not to want them. So Postman looked at television, and now we can look at the internet, and he said, this is it. This is Huxley. We don't need a big brother to take our rights away.
We give them up willingly.
We trade them for convenience, for entertainment, for a constant, customized stream of fun. The walls of our prison aren't built by wardens. They're built out of our own desire to be amused.
And that really puts it back on us. Think about your own screen time. Did anyone force you to watch 2 hours of, people reviewing fast food?
No, it was voluntary, and it was probably pretty enjoyable in the moment.
Right, and that's the key insight here. We're losing our ability for deep, focused thought because thinking is hard. It's slow.
It takes actual effort. And scrolling is easy. It's fast. The algorithm is designed to give you little rewards constantly. The path of least cognitive resistance, it wins every time.
So we're choosing the fun apocalypse.
It seems like it.
So how did the media itself, the technology, actually make this happen? This brings us to Postman's big theory, right? The medium is the metaphor.
Yes. And this is more than just that old, the medium is the message line. Postman argued that the actual format, the structure of the media, determines the kind of conversations we can even have.
So his example was smoke signals.
Right. You just can't have a nuanced philosophical debate with puffs of smoke. The medium itself doesn't allow for complexity or, counter arguments.
And he was looking at television news in the 80s when he wrote this. What was it about TV that worried him?
It was the demand for images, for visual stimulation. You can't really show a complex economic theory on camera and keep people watching.
No, it's boring.
It's abstract. So TV news had to focus on things that look good, on drama, on personalities, on emotional sound bites. It valued aesthetics over rational argument.
Okay, now let's apply that to today. Right now, you're listening to this, a long-form audio deep dive. We're asking you to sit here for, 15, 20 minutes and follow a complex idea.
This format requires patience. It values context.
But now contrast that with, say, TikTok, short-form vertical video.
A completely different medium. The format itself, just by being vertical and short, demands that you be loud, fast, and visually interesting in the first, 2 seconds?
If that.
It's a medium that structurally values vibes and immediate emotional hits over any kind of context or truth.
And here's the really scary part, the cognitive shift. If you get all your information that way, your news, your history, everything, Your brain actually starts to reject things that aren't like that.
Exactly. Your brain starts to think that if something takes effort to understand, it must not be important. If it's not set to a trending audio track, it's irrelevant.
The format literally changes how you value truth itself.
Rational discussion gets replaced by, did it make me feel something? Was it entertaining? Was it aesthetically pleasing? The argument itself doesn't matter anymore.
So here's a little thought experiment for you. Try to explain the entire history of the Cold War. All the nuance, the proxy wars, all of it. Now, try to explain it in a 60-second dance challenge video.
You can't. I mean, you can't do it accurately. You'd have to strip out all the context.
It stops being history and it just becomes content.
And that's the danger. We're losing the ability as a society to even talk about complex issues, like, say, infrastructure policy or international trade, because they can't be made into a fun, quick meme. They get exiled from the conversation.
And this demand for constant, bite-sized amusement leads us right to the next big concept. The way our attention is shattered every single day. Postman called it the now this effect.
Yeah, his original observation was from watching the evening news.
Tell us about that.
So a newscaster would be reporting on something truly awful, a war, a famine, a national crisis. They'd have a serious expression, a dramatic pause, and then they'd say, now, this.
And then it cuts to a Burger King commercial.
Exactly. A happy, bright, loud commercial. The emotional whiplash is just, it's jarring.
And what does that teach the viewer?
It teaches you that nothing really matters, that context doesn't exist. Any serious emotion you might have felt is immediately wiped out by the need to sell you something or entertain you again.
The digital version of now this is just doomscrolling. It's the same effect, but on hyperspeed.
Totally. Think about the sequence. You're scrolling, you see a heartbreaking video from a war zone, you feel sadness, maybe some outrage.
And you swipe.
And it's a puppy falling over. Instant pure joy.
Swipe again. Now it's an angry, divisive political post. You feel anger, anxiety.
Swipe one more time. And it's a 10-second recipe for feta pasta. Now you're hungry.
Sadness, joy, anger, hunger in the space of, 30 seconds?
It's cognitive chaos. Your brain can't process that healthily, so it just goes numb. The war video loses its meaning when it's just another piece of content squeezed between a puppy and a recipe.
It all becomes just pixels.
And the tragic result is that we end up knowing of a lot of things. We're aware of every tragedy in the world instantly, but we don't truly know anything because we never sit with it long enough for it to sink in, for it to matter.
Our entire reality becomes fragmented.
And that fragmentation leads directly to the final stage that Postman warned us about, the rise of infotainment.
Okay, so this started with his critique of TV news, right? That it had to be a performance. Good hair, catchy theme music.
Yeah, because the goal wasn't just to inform anymore, it was to hold an audience's attention. It had to be entertaining.
And now that has completely taken over politics.
It's transformed it. Politics is now fundamentally show business. The goal isn't always to govern, it's to generate attention, to create content.
We see politicians acting like influencers. They're doing, fit checks on TikTok or learning viral dances.
Because they're optimizing for likes and shares, not for passing legislation. Or you see these news influencers explaining a complex war in 60 seconds.
With Subway Surfers, gameplay happening on the screen at the same time.
To keep your eyes on the screen, because if the entertainment stops, the audience is gone.
Okay, but I have to push back a little. Isn't that just meeting people where they are? Making complex topics more accessible.
That's the argument for it, sure. But Postman would say that in the process of making it accessible, you gut it of all its meaning. You destroy the very depth that's necessary for real understanding.
So what's the consequence?
The consequence is that we stop choosing leaders based on competence or experience or policy. We start choosing the best performer.
The one with the best vibes.
Or the one who had the funniest comeback on Twitter. Politics becomes a scripted drama, an election becomes a season of a reality TV show. We're entertained, but we're completely disconnected from our actual civic duty.
We're voting for the best reaction GIF.
And if that's the main qualification for leadership, we are in serious trouble. We're choosing amusement over consequence every single time.
So after all this, what do we do? We're not supposed to just burn our phones, right? That's not the point.
No, that's too simple. Postman's goal was never that. It was just awareness, consciousness. If you can see the machine, if you understand how it's designed to fragment your attention and amuse you, you can start to resist it.
You have to first admit that the distraction is voluntary.
You have to see the bars of the cage.
So, with that in mind, we have a challenge for you this week. A simple act of intentional focus.
We want you to try reading something on paper. A book, a long article, anything without a hyperlink. Something that forces you to follow one single line of thought from beginning to end.
Or try watching a whole movie,
Hmm.
a documentary. And don't look at your phone. Not once. Just let yourself sink into it.
The goal is just to remind your brain that it can still do hard things, that it can handle complexity, that it can focus for longer than 15 seconds.
Don't let your ability to think deeply be amused to death.
And that leaves us with a final thought for you to take away from this deep dive. If the new standard for what's important is whether or not a complex truth can be boiled down into a meme or a 15-second vibe,
Then what critical, necessary conversations are we as a society now completely incapable of even having?